Good day. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Dead Hedgehogs review of Mayo and Leitrim and the preview to the Euro 2020 final. Bullshit. Everybody. Welcome to the My bad. How are you getting on, Steve?
Good, Chris. Good. How are you keeping?
I'm good, mate. I'm good.
Are we live, are we?
We are live.
Lovely.
With as many technical difficulties as we had.
We're a little bit later than scheduled, but sure, look, it wouldn't be us if we were early.
No, definitely not. Like, how are you getting on, Stevie boy?
Good. I was up. I had to do a bit of work in Letterkenny this morning. I had to be on the road at 6:30.
Unreal.
Did you know what? I didn't even get any pints of Guinness in. I've had to rely on this stuff. I thought it was that old little cheap shite, but it's not.
It's McGarrigles, is it?
McGarrigles, yeah. Which I'm pretty sure was Gotten Little.
Is I think it's McGarrigles made by Rye River in Selbridge. Check it there.
They're definitely made in Kildare. All right. Kildare crafted Irish, and it's 8%. Blow the fucking stones off you.
That is absolutely it. That is absolutely it.
What did you say?
I said that's exactly Rye River.
Yes.
Do you know what else they made? The Hardy Bucks beer.
Oh yes.
Now.
Good. And it's distributed in Italy by Vit. So is that not an omen or something?
Well, that's hopefully an omen. If you're out there watching, jump into the comments, say hello. Tell us what we want to hear. That it's going home to Rome.
Firstly, let's chat about Mayo
and Leitrim. That was rough. That was rough on the Leitrim.
It's not good to anyone. It's not good to anyone, Chris.
No, it's actually one thing. Look, it's actually I was listening to them after the match, and Sean Kavanagh was like, "That's no good to Mayo. If anything, it's a disaster for them because they haven't been challenged and they're in Division 2. They weren't challenged in Division 2, except they played Clare in the league semi-final. That was to get back into the.
Is that Sean Kavanagh from DSB?
Exactly. But yeah.
No, he's 100% right. We literally have, but then again, we try something different this year. We've often had hard slogs in the league. Then we've had really hard games trying to get to the final.
And I don't think that benefits you either.
No, it has to be a fine balance.
Because if you look at Dublin have dominated, but they're getting an easy pass through to the All-Ireland quarterfinals and semi-finals.
Sometimes even final.
What does Mayo need to do? They have to play 3 good matches at the end of the year.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is to get there without trying, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, 100%. And having easy games, like all it does keep those players are still going to be sharp. Mm-hmm. Those forwards are racking up scores. That does sharpen them. Now, they're not going to be at a pace that they're going to be at if they were playing Dublin. But finding pockets of space, they could do the hard stuff in training if they need to.
Yeah.
So I don't really think that having easy games in the championship for Mayo, like it'd be different if it was a team that doesn't go far in the championship. Mayo are relentlessly there in the semi-finals and finals.
Let's be fair, and I know that we're like, oh my god, we haven't won anything, and that, but we have been there for the last 20 years, 25 years.
Yeah, we're always at the top table.
Yeah,
always at the top table, and
I don't think they've got the credit they deserve. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Mayo man. I don't think they've got the credit they deserve.
Definitely haven't.
No.
Yeah, like
it has turned into a bit of a. I know I done a video during the week. Mayo GA has turned in for the other counties a bit of a laughing stock. The fact that we haven't actually
Let's put it this way: how many of those counties would trade what they've been doing to be
100%,
Mayo's position?
100%, yeah.
Like they all want, like bar Dublin, they all want to be Mayo's supporters in a way, because they are getting to the latter stages, and Mayo will eventually win an All Ireland title. They keep on getting to the latter stages of these championships.
Yeah, of course.
Like, and even if that gets us to 40 or 50 years time down the line, we'll get one eventually. You know?
Winning is a habit as well. It really is, and that's obviously Dublin is the true tale of that. They've got into a winning habit, and it doesn't seem like they're going to break it. But in saying that, they can't last forever either. No matter how good.
Back in the 80s, and I know we've had this discussion where it's Liverpool dominating. It was unassailable that anyone was ever going to get to 19 league titles. And United dominated. They won 13 Premier League titles in 20 years or whatever.
Yeah.
And suddenly that seems unassailable. No one will ever get close to United. And that's the way sport is right now. Technically, Dublin are way out in front over the last couple of years. They are helped by the finance that they have. We've talked about this before, and it is important to talk about, because if you look at Leitrim are a team that they are struggling to field teams in training.
So I believe I was told that they barely got enough training during the week, that they didn't even make up a team.
I heard that there was Leitrim players that turned down the chance to go with the senior county squad because they want to just stay with their club. They didn't want to play county football. That's a major problem. If that's the dream of most young lads, to
100%.
pull on your county jersey. Doesn't matter if you are a Leitrim or one of these smaller counties that isn't as prestigious.
Yeah.
But I can also understand it as well if they're going playing Mayo and they're going to get absolutely trounced.
Yeah.
And it is not. It's not fair. The championship. I see Mark Donna's turn is put into the comments there, right? And Mark says the championship needs a massive overhaul. Beating teams in third gear is no good, and the Kingdom will get rid of the Dubs this year. I'd much rather Kerry beat Dublin, but like, if it came to that, if it came between the two, but you're right, it needs a major overhaul, because it's unfair to put Leitrim out to slaughter like that.
Yeah.
Or the team.
How do you bring young people through 14, 15, 16 years of age and expect them to get into a senior team? Very demoralizing.
It's rough, and it's very hard to see a way past it except changing the format of the championship.
But Dublin, Mayo, Kerry, Tyrone, Donegal, Galway, Cork. Could you include Cork in that?
You can probably. They got to the Munster final last year, so they might be rebuilding. The only problem is that they're quick to implode on themselves, as as any team out there. But they've got talent in that county, no doubt. The only thing that they haven't found a formula the way Kerry has of reproducing the team. Look at that Kerry team during the championship. They look fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that it's so unfair to do it to Leitrim or Sligo now.
Sligo, and I'm very surprised Sligo. Sligo, I thought they were coming through, and they've just taken a massive step back.
But they can't compete.
Yeah.
Division 4 teams, like Mayo might have been in Division 2 this year, but they were 35, 40 years in Division 1.
Yeah.
So they're not a Division 2 team, really. I think it might be a blessing in disguise that they've had an easy run early in the championship so far.
And getting back to that, the reason that they ended up in the Division 2 is, they should have won the last game. That would have kept them up in League One.
Yeah.
They had a great game against Galway, and then they played at home, and how they lost against Tyrone that day is beyond me.
And to be honest, they were a mess. That they had a bad first half, a really bad first half. I think they were 12 or 13 points down at one stage.
Right, that's right.
And they came back to within a point. I think there was a gale blowing.
Yeah, that's right. That is true. Yeah, that's very, very true. But something has to be done, and I know we've had this discussion before, and I am a traditionalist when it comes to GAA or any sports really. I hate the rules being changed, but definitely something has to be done.
Well, one thing that we all agree on that we don't want it to be unfair, and it's unfair to do that to a team it's very unfair to do it to a team like Leitrim. It feels like they've been done dirty.
Yeah. But Kildare were doing this, or Dublin were doing the same to all the teams in Leinster.
Exactly, and that's just the way it is. It is it's just like, look, the bigger teams, like Connacht, in fairness, has been fairly competitive between three teams, and two, and then there's been London, Leitrim, and Sligo just getting hammered all over the place. I know London haven't been in the last two championships, but traditionally they have been just hammered.
The problem with doing a draw is you could end up with, let's just say, Mayo and Dublin in the first game, and two of your best teams in the country are one of them is gone.
Well, I think the way that they're going to do it is, I think it has to be
seeded, a bit like the Champions League.
Yeah,
or not the Champions League, like they do in the Euros, where they keep the top seeds apart.
Maybe, but still these teams are going to dominate that way. They probably, a league format is going to be fair, and then kind of mix it in. Whoever is, say there's a 2-division league format and then a championship runoff at the end. I don't know if there's any easy answers to reformatting it, but one thing that Leitrim needs is more competitive games against, not going out and getting hammered, but there has to be a middle ground. So teams that might be better than them or might not. I don't know. It's hard to know if there's an answer for it right now, because I haven't heard anyone say anything, giving us an answer for it.
Yeah, there's all different ways of doing it, and all of them have their great points, but all of them have something just amiss with them as well.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that they'll figure it out. Do you prefer the knockout, the old tradition, what has gone back to this year, like one game and you're gone?
Yeah, I don't know if it increases the amount of excitement in it.
No, I don't think it does. And the thing is, when the backdoor system came in 1999, even though I was only a Goslar, I still didn't like it then. I didn't like the change, but then I got so used to it because we got more games.
Well, you get more games and there's more excitement in it when, like, let's put it this way, right? Leitrim had the backdoor today. They would be out of the Connacht Championship, but they might have another 2 or 3 games.
Yeah.
Like they.
Well, they'd be going up against teams of similar standing.
Yes, that have already been knocked out. Now, you might have Mayo and Galway in the first round of the Connacht Championship, and they go out, and you get a bad draw.
Yeah.
Or you might get a Cork that lose to Kerry in the first round of the championship.
Yeah.
So the best teams are going to come to the fore through the backdoor system. They've always done it, and that's suited Mayo as well in the past, where they've put a run together. Those extra games, like they're high pressure.
There was a couple of times we got to an All-Ireland final where there was a couple of games that we shouldn't have actually won. I remember there was a game against Derry. We just barely hung on. In fact, we were level.
And the game after that, we played Armagh
in Castlebar as well.
In Castlebar. So I think Derry was in Derry, and then we played Armagh and Castlebar. We won by a point.
No, the 2 games were in Castlebar.
Oh, were they? Maybe they were. Yeah. Okay, but like we're just hanging on week in, week out. That kind of builds resilience in the team, and that puts you in a frame of mind that even when it gets to the 65-minute mark, we'll fucking get over the line.
That's right. But that game against Derry, there was a couple of games against Derry that we only pulled it out of the fire right at the end. And then we went on to the All-Ireland final. So you just don't know it.
You don't know. No one knows that, but they'll say, well, Mayo still got through. The big teams are still winning. And you'd be right.
Yeah. But the difference is, and I'm green and red through and through.
Of course.
The difference is with Dublin is they're going to be there.
But they've won, was it 15 in the last 16 Leinster championships now? It has complete, and that's now look, Galway and Roscommon, they're not going to challenge. Roscommon haven't challenged in the championship as a whole, but they could knock out Galway or Mayo.
Oh yeah, they could get a good day.
And they could have a good day. Yeah. And they've gone into Croke Park and they've kind of fallen apart on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. But it's led to a little bit of at least it's led to some sort of a championship between the three teams. Mm-hmm. But lambs to the slaughter, like you'd feel sorry for Leitrim today. No, and obviously Leitrim don't want to be pitied. That's fucking woeful as well.
But getting back to Roscommon, it was only two or 3 years ago. Roscommon beat us in Castlebar by a point.
Yeah.
And it was a very physical game. But then we went on and we met them again and we absolutely hammered them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the further we go on as well in the championship.
So these players are also building to peak at a certain stage. Yeah. Now, if they're having hard games early on in the championship and in the league, then their levels of peak, their chances of peaking later on in the championship, the way Dublin have done year in, year out for the last 10 years, 15 years, whatever. Their chances of Mayo's chances of doing that are severely diminished. Mm-hmm. But they've had an easy league championship comparatively. Mm-hmm. They've also had an easy run in the championship comparatively. So now we're going into a game against Galway. In fairness, I watched Galway and Roscommon. Roscommon were terrible.
Yeah, they were.
They were so poor. Sorry to any Roscommon heads, but if you were watching that and you didn't think that they were terrible, I don't know what you were watching. They were so bad. It was unreal.
And it's not that Galway were brilliant either.
They weren't. And they should have put them on.
Galway, just like Roscommon, could... Again, the further they go on, the better they get in the championship.
They could, but they lost Shane Walsh. Shane Walsh is a massive player for them.
Well, look, we've Killian O'Connor lost as well, so it's one inch.
The balance of the team hasn't been affected, so far. We haven't been tested, obviously.
Yeah,
but there is points across the board today, and this is the chance for the likes of Conroy to go and say, right, this is my year to shine.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
These younger players, O'Donoghue played well today. I don't see them racking up points. And it was knife through butter stuff. It was training ground stuff.
Yeah. In fact, the bit I was listening to on the way back down from Letterkenny, they seem to have missed a few chances as well. So
and they were scoring at will, and that'll happen when a team is winning so easily.
Yeah.
The intensity isn't there, but I'd look at it this way, that it's the way, look, can't complain. It is what it is, and I'd be very positive that Mayo could go out and beat Galway. Not, I wouldn't say handy, but comprehensively.
My father's the same, and when he thinks like that, but then he's a dreamer when it comes to Mayo football.
He is. He's an optimist. Nothing else.
Yeah, but he watched it with rose tinted glasses.
Yeah, but it's at the end of the day, though, the Mayo's finances have put a slant on the way that they're financially going to be able to develop more players, and Leitrim apparently can't even pull club players from their clubs.
They were lucky to pull a team together for today.
Apparently so, yeah.
The thing is, we had a COVID outbreak in our camp, and we still managed to bring a full squad.
Mad. And more. They had four. They he's really made a deep squad out of it. I think they were talking. I think Marty Morrissey was talking about how he's got 40 players involved.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is, we need that because Dublin has that, and that's where we lost the last year with Dublin.
And that's where you got to look. That you got to follow the model that's winning.
I love the fact that he played, Pádraig O'Hora for nearly a full game today. I like Pádraig. I think he's a great attitude towards the game.
I personally, I think the same is that he's got a brilliant mentality. You could see at halftime, the water break in the second half, James was talking to the team, and just as they were about to break and go back into position, Pádraig O'Hora was the one that was had the last word with them. So he's clearly taken on a leadership role in the squad as well.
Yeah. That's what they were saying in the commentary. I would like that. I said I was only listening to you on the radio, but they said there's so many of the younger crew coming up, step forward, and we're leading from the front. Yeah, and that's important. It's important to see young players come to the. What about this for an idea? And I'm like at the same time I'm trying to rack it in my head here. What about if they do something like they've done in? I know there's only one hurling team in Connacht, and that's Galway, that they've joined up with Leinster. What if Connacht amalgamated with Ulster and Munster amalgamated with Leinster?
And have a championship that way.
Yeah, and then go back to the...
Yeah.
Something like that.
That would be fair. That would be fair. And obviously, if you go out of... I think that what you need to do is have an operation. You have that, and you have a round robin of a couple of teams. Do you get me? So you've got a bit of a run, and then it kind of tears off.
Yeah.
So, say if Leitrim and Fermanagh and Sligo, some of these teams that might have struggled.
Well, the only thing is, what do you do? What do you do when it comes to the final? Obviously, whoever the two teams to get to the final should go through into a pot. So we'll just say you have Mayo and Donegal in the Ulster Connacht final. Yeah. Then you have Dublin and Kerry in the Munster Leinster final. That makes that the All Ireland semi final.
Well, do they have to play each other? Or you say Mayo plays Donegal? They could run into semi-finals.
Yeah, well, then there's no incentive to win the final. Well, then again, there is.
I think you could almost play the Connacht Championship before the league, right? So have you play your Connacht Championship. That's it. There's no bearing on the rest of the championship at all, right? Mm-hmm. Have your league championship. That kind of sets up the seeding system for your. Say if it was Ulster and Connacht, then that sets up the seedings for that. Split off the teams, and then you run out from that and just play the All Ireland series, like what you said there.
Mm-hmm.
That might be a way of doing it.
I don't know. It's just something has to be done, and I'm sure that they're trying to think of stuff because the way it is now, nothing is exciting until. And the thing is, you might have a great game. You might have a great game in the Ulsters, but everyone knows that at the minute it doesn't matter because Dublin are going to win it anyway.
Yeah,
so that has to stop.
Yeah, it can't keep running on like this at the moment. You gotta. I suppose the only way to look at it is to say that we have to see a major change.
Yeah,
have to see a major change, and it'll take a bit of time to figure that out. I think that might be a good idea to split off region by region.
Mm-hmm.
Put two regions together, and make it Ulster and Connacht this year, and Leinster and Munster.
What about this for an idea, like they do in the ladies Connacht? All teams play each other.
Yeah, it's round robin.
Yeah, and maybe you divide Leinster into two. maybe divide Ulster into two and not divide Munster into two. Everyone plays each other, and then that leaves. You could try and make a way that there was eight.
But that's basically turning it into a league format. Like,
yeah, but then I don't know. It's like we'd have to sit down with paper and pen. Not that we've anything to do with it anyway. But
no, we'll fix it though.
We'll fix it. We will. Listen. There was some other point there I wanted to go on the GEA before.
The only thing that I would say about that last point that you're doing is that it leads to Leitrim being fucking pummeled 4 times instead of once.
Well, the more I always say that you can do whatever you want in training. It's the match day that brings you on.
Yeah, it's true. Like, but that's when the pressure's on, isn't it? Like, it was a depressing watch now, because you knew after 5 minutes that there was they had very little chance as well. But I'd say if you're an odds maker, you would have put Leitrim out to 500 to 1 after 5 minutes or 10 minutes.
Yeah, there were because I seen it on the, what do they call it? Like the betting on the way down. It was dismal stuff. Dismal. There were 500. They weren't even taking bets on Mayo. Mayo's handicap was 18 points plus. I mean, there should be no game in GA that should be like that.
Yeah, and that's not that to be shipping 18 to an 18 point difference expected is that's a joke.
That's rugby scores.
Yeah, well, that's a winning margin.
Yeah.
So like they're 25 points up at halftime, like.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Or
right, let's get on because we're cracking on time. Actually, it's half an hour away. The big game. We've put up a few posts over the week about the football and about the English attitude towards it, which, by the way, is just banter. Like,
you can't argue it at the moment. The teams are in, so England are going with a back 3, interestingly enough. So so he's going with Pickford, Maguire, Stones, and Kyle Walker, with Luke Shaw, Declan Rice, Calvin Phillips, and Trippier. And then in attack, you've got Sterling, Mount, and Kane, which is, I think that kind of shows what England are going to do.
3-4-3.
So they're playing a 3-4-3. But mostly it's a back 5, because Trippier and Shaw, they're going to sit deeper than you would a regular winger.
Mm-hmm.
So Kyle Walker is going to come in on the right side of a 3-man central.
Soccer is your baby. You're explaining it to me as well as anyone that's watching, because
I'll show the formation that is. So the way that they put this formation on Google now, right? And you'll see it's almost like it says a 3-4-2-1.
Is that the diamond formation? No.
So that's not really the way it's going to look. When they're defending, they're going to be a 5.
Okay.
At the back, and then they're going to be 2 holding midfields.
Do teams have to give that before the game?
No, they just have to give a list of names.
Oh, it was the same in the GA.
Yeah, exactly. So now, obviously, formations and all that, they can change it. The way that they're going to attack and they're going to set up, and the way they're going to defend. Like, so with a formation like this, you're going to see, say if they're attacking down the right, you'll see where Kyle Walker is. He'll go into that Kieran Trippier position and basically turn it into a 4-3-2-1. Like, do you get me?
Yeah, I get you.
Whereas when they're defending, they'll be basically a back 5.
Mm-hmm.
I look at that and I say that's a really defense first, almost a little bit negative.
You think that's defensive?
Massively, because Declan Rice and Calvin Phillips, they're very much sitting midfielders. They're going to play defensively.
Okay.
Trippier and Shaw, they're left and right backs. So you're playing 3 central defenders, a left and right back, and then 2 sitting midfielders. So this is all set up to go for the first hour. We won't concede.
Okay.
And then if we break, we'll have Shaw to join with Sterling, Mount and Kane. Or we've got Kieran Trippier on the other side to bomb on and join with.
No Grealish in there.
Grealish is on the bench, yeah. But he got substituted the last day when he came on. So he came on as a substitute and then got substituted again.
All right. And I know that the fans were shouting for Grealish when he wasn't being played in the beginning.
Yeah, massively. Because you got to look, Jack Grealish is a player that wants to run out of defense. He's an exciting player. You know, he might be a turncoat and he should never have been allowed to wear an Ireland shirt in his life, which is disgusting in itself. We all have our gripes. I won't let him go about that. Should never have been allowed to wear an Ireland shirt. But yeah, he's a special player. Like, so don't get me wrong, he is exciting. If you look at the Italian team, they're going with a flat back 4, 3 in midfield, 3 attackers. Your man Barella is going to break from midfield. They're going to have Jorginho and Verratti sitting a bit deeper. I would look at the Italian team as a lot more adventurous. They're going to probably get after it after England. Like, one thing that Denmark did really well in the first game is their midfield really put the pressure on Rice and Calvin Phillips. They didn't look great in that game, to be honest. So, be interesting. It'd be an interesting thing. Guys, if you're watching this, give us your thoughts on who's going to win the Euro 2020 final. Be only a half an hour away now before the kickoff.
The thing about the Denmark English game is Denmark really did run out of steam. Like they were knackered. Now, whatever you want about the penalty, England overall deserved to win the game.
Definitely. No, I don't think anyone's going to argue that England were the better team. And the longer they went on, they could dive into that massive bench. You can make 5 changes in the 90 minutes. You can also make an extra change in extra time, which means that you can exploit the fact that they've got a very deep squad.
Yeah.
Full, like, on the squad, you can bring on Foden, Rashford, Bukayo Saka, all these players that can change a game. Jack Grealish, you know, that in itself is where they could win this game.
Yeah, it's a bit like having a panel that doesn't have GAA.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually very transferable. That's the most, like, Italy are a better team because of the sum of their parts. You know, I suppose if you're England, if you can get the first 60 minutes or 70 minutes out of the way at 0-0, you'd be like, yeah, we can start making the difference now.
Yeah.
It's hard to know what's going to happen after that. And
well, I have a vested interest in Italy winning. That's because I picked them in the beginning and I put a few pound on them at 8-1.
Yeah, and so did I. So it'd be nice to see that come in. But look, that squad that England have is outrageously talented.
Yeah.
You know, so
I've never. It's not often you get a European Championship or World Cup or any sort of competition that the 2 outstanding teams of the tournament get the final.
Yeah, they've been the best 2 teams so far.
Yeah.
The one thing I'd say about it could be an awful dull game. Because finals can often be like that. They're not going to be attacking end to end.
How many times have we looked forward to an El Clasico or a Man United Liverpool game, and they've just turned into like
because both teams don't want to lose.
Yeah.
losing, and they now if there's an early goal by Italy, that might open up the game a bit. I what I would worry is that England would score first. They shut out the game.
Yeah.
Because that's the type of team that they've got out there to do,
Okay.
And I was over at Mark's gaff there the last day, the can gaff, famous can gaff.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of discussions about Raheem Sterling because I don't rate him at all. I don't think he's. No, I haven't. And I tell you why. This isn't just. He hasn't been. This tournament has suited him. He's excelled. He's scored goals. He's looked sharp. But I would look at Raheem Sterling as wasteful in the championship, throughout the Premier League, throughout the year. He has been poor.
Right.
He's had a poor year. Like Man City's they strangle teams with possession. They always have the ball, and they create tons of chances. If Raheem Sterling was a better finisher, he'd score 30, 35 goals every season. That's what he should be doing. Huh?
What did he score this year?
I think it was like 15 or 17.
Now, tell me another thing. Where did Raheem Sterling didn't start with Man City? Who was he with first?
So he was with QPR, went to Liverpool, and Liverpool bought him off, or Man City bought him for 50 million or something like that.
Yeah, it's unusual for one of the top English teams to buy off or to let go to another top English team.
Yeah, I suppose it's one of those that the money was big at the time. Plus, Raheem Sterling was whittling down his contract. So he had it in his head to go to Man City anyway because they were winning.
Yeah.
He didn't think that Liverpool were going to win.
And then they did.
They did, yeah.
Yeah. So, but then again, City did then the following year. So
I'd look at Raheem Sterling as there's a reason he didn't play for the last 4 months for Pep Guardiola. So he's come into this tournament super fresh.
Yeah.
And there's lots of players that have done very well throughout this tournament where they haven't been playing much. They might have been fit.
There's a lot to be said for going into something fresh.
Massive. It's a massive.
Not just in soccer, but in everything.
Yeah.
Like I give you an example of even in running. Like you see there's a thing called overtraining. Well, of
course,
an obvious thing, overtraining, which I am guilty of well in the past. Like the Dublin run that we done down from Dublin, I trained so hard for that, but I trained right up to like the day before, and that was completely the wrong thing I done. So when we done the Mayo coast run, it was like I was fresh going into it, and it stood to me way better.
That first day, I know the wind was on your back and all that.
Yeah, well, it didn't matter. It was uphill.
Yeah, and it was, but like he nailed that first day, 50 kilometers in a day. Absolutely.
We came in with like 2 hours, but that
2 hours ahead of schedule.
Yeah, but we got good sleep the night before. Sleep is very important too.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to
preparation was you just knew how to prepare better.
Yeah, way better. And when we're doing the big run next year again, we'll all be prepared. For anyone that hasn't seen the video that myself and Chris made when I done Wicklow Way or a part of the Wicklow Way, check it out on YouTube. We've it up there a couple of days ago, so it was a bit of fun while I was killing myself on the Wicklow Way as well.
Well, I had fun anyway.
Yeah, well, you had fun. But
I'm going to put a link into the comments, so a link.
Check it out. It was a bit of comic relief, and that was a beautiful day. The weather was just incredible.
It was good crack. Like I suppose when it comes to working, I suppose just going back to the match very briefly, like it's not that I say that Raheem Sterling is a bad player, but the hype around him now is like the English fan thing. Like English fan culture is something I don't like. It's ostentatious and it's brash and it's fucking beating your chest and it's a little bit. It's just not nice. I like all that arrogance and brashness from a boxer.
Yeah.
But when it's a team sport, I think
But it's not even the team. The thing is,
fans,
you say something.
Yeah. It's hard. I think that it's.
But they're not all. The thing is, they're not all bad. There's just a massive element, like booing anyone's national anthem.
I was just going to mention it. It's the worst.
It's a no-no.
It is the worst. At least, like Ireland fans have that go to Croke Park on a regular basis. Had a legitimate gripe with playing the God Save the Queen in Croke Park back in 2007. That like there was the scene of a massacre.
Yeah, 100 years actually.
And when there was real worries that the England's national anthem would be booed, and on the day that it was played in there, not a peep.
Yeah, 100%. And it could have been, and if it was, it would have been sort of justified. But we had the respect not to do it.
Yeah, it's like it's that booing the national anthem and.
But it's the element, and it's an element of the crowd. It's not everyone. And I want to go back to
we know that, like
that we said on a podcast before. The thing is, I wouldn't mind if England won the Euros. I know I made a couple of videos this week, but they were all comic.
Yeah, it's in jest,
in jest. But they keep proving themselves sort of wrong.
They could be bad winners.
Yeah, bad winners. Yeah, and terrible losers.
Yeah, and to be honest, it's like this idea that, I've got lots of family that live in England. It doesn't mean that I want them to be happy.
Well, I'm putting it out there that I want Italy to win, mostly because I put money on them at the beginning. Secondly, because just the bad element that's in the English supporters have just came to the fore again, and for them, I just want to, like, for example, I put up a video yesterday, and it's done very well. But there's an element, like, I don't usually pay any heed to bad comments or anything like that. But the thing is, the actual joke of the video is on me.
Yeah, obviously.
It's at the end. It's on me. I set up the joke at the beginning to make fun of me and my county, who I know will understand it.
Of course.
At the end.
Yeah.
But there's a crowd. There's an element that are, arguing with people that are trying to explain to them on the threads. Like, I'm watching it, and I got involved with a few of them, but I don't give them much. I said, basically, if I have to explain the joke to you, I've lost you already. So
yeah. But you know what the funny thing about that was? Like, that was sent to me twice by people that didn't know that myself and yourself are best mates, or you're one of my best mates.
Yeah.
Just lads in Dublin going, "Hey, have you seen this?" And I say, "Do you see that? I do a podcast with that man every week."
Yeah, sometimes 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah, I actually just sent the video from myself and yourself in Wicklow last week. It's a sneaky way of getting an extra little view in there for us.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
So look, at the end of the day, it's soccer. No one's going to die in the morning.
No.
It's meant for entertainment. And yes, and don't get me wrong, and me and you will testify to this. When it comes to Mayo football, and I know how passionate you can get about it.
Oh, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, but at the end of the day,
it works. Exactly.
No one's going to die.
No one knows more than us what it's like to be walking out of that, head in your hands, almost on the verge of tears, and going, we just want a little break. That's it.
I've been on the verge of tears going into a match.
I know. Yeah, there's that part of it too.
I remember going down to Downpatrick Head once, and it was before one of the All Ireland finals, and I think it was 2016 because I would have been like it was an emotional year for me with the aneurysm and that,
Yeah, sure.
and especially Mayo got to the All Ireland final that year, didn't they?
Yeah,
They did.
it is. Yeah.
And Mayo made this brilliant video, um, sort of to promote Mayo and Mayo GAA, and it was
Sure.
really heartwarming, and it was like pulling the heartstrings. And I went down. Someone sent it to me as I was looking out at Downpatrick Head. Now, for anyone that hasn't been to Downpatrick Head, it is the North Mayo's most iconic
Yeah.
thing.
Piece of scenery. Yeah.
It's just a magical place, and there was like I started bawling.
But I understand that. Like for me, I remember I'd be working up here in Dublin, and I'd be in an office, and people that didn't understand, like a mate of mine, he's a Liverpool fan, but he couldn't understand why it meant so much. And the reason it meant so much to us, and Mayo GAA winning means so much to us, is because of that. It would transform the mood of the not just home, but like is for home, but transforms the mood of every town in the county.
Oh, 100%. And
Brings so much to it. Like,
yeah, everyone has a pep in their step. It's something to look forward to. And not only that, but it evokes even past loved ones, like my grandfathers.
exactly.
And all the stories they told about Mayo football.
Yeah.
So it's the same for every team. Don't get me wrong.
But it's different from when you're from a place that is small, and
yeah,
you have people that like loneliness is a big issue in smaller towns in the west of Ireland. And it is obviously in big cities in Dublin, wherever, people can get isolated anywhere, but it's much almost easier when you're from a very small, sparsely populated area.
Yeah.
Where, you might meet up with someone week to week or two, 3 times a week, just to hang out, when you're older. And unfortunately, that person passes away. And what do you do with the rest of your life?
Yeah.
When you don't have that support network that might be dead and gone. So, and for all those people that might have the family or the social connections that they want, so I don't know, they might just have Mayo football.
Yeah.
And that's why for all those people and for small towns in general in Mayo, it means that much more.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not just a cup.
No. It is a culture. It is a reason to get up in the morning.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd say that, and there's loads of those towns across, England that are feeling that at the moment. True. The only problem, I look into the crowd at Wembley and I see like an EDL march because they're like these burly, skin-headed, white fellas that go.
They're letting down. They're letting down the rest of the nation.
That are booing the Black Lives Matter thing. I couldn't give a shit what anyone thinks about or has a thought on that. That's their thing, not mine. But it's such a big issue. Like these, like you could literally like I was talking to Andy, our friend from London, and we can wrap up in the next couple of minutes. But like he was saying that going to an English match is like you've got a massive divide of like these small town, like a town like Plymouth that don't have their own trips across Europe with their football team that jump on the bandwagon for the English national team. You've got all those guys that travel around with England and this is their big day out. And then you've got all these Londoners that are accountants and they go to the matches, and there's a weird social divide that crosses, but when they do get into the stadium, he said that it's actually not the nicest place to be.
No.
So, which is why I expected him to say.
And getting back to your point about being lonely in rural, isolated places, you can be very lonely in among 80,000 people as well.
Of course.
That's for an agony uncles.
Yeah, that's for another episode of Agony Uncles one of the days. Just read out one or two of the comments here. It's only a handful of comments. They're probably watching the preview of the match there or whatever. But William Taylor, how are you, William? What's the crack with you? Pressure. The fact England hasn't won anything since the Middle Ages, playing at Wembley, riding high on a wave of success. I see a choke job on the horizon. We can only pray William Taylor 069. And Mark Duna goes, I booed at a pub in Killarney and I got looked at like a leper. I'll be honest, booing God Saves the Queen I don't like God Saves the Queen as much as the next one, but I wouldn't boo it in a pub.
No, I wouldn't boo a national. I wouldn't actually boo a national.
Yeah, it's like that might look, but at the same time, like at what stage do you just forget about national anthems? Is a load about they do have
that could be the way to go as well. I mean, our sporting bodies creating opportunities to create a divide.
Yeah, there could be that. And to be honest, I think that playing the national anthem at every GAA match is not as necessary as it might have been back in the 1930s.
That's true. Play it at the final and leave it at that.
Yeah, like
then again, it's easy to play a national anthem at a GAA match because 99.9% of the people there are Irish.
Yeah, it's a national game. So it's like I've got a clip to put out, or we've got a clip that's going out on the YouTube page later on where we did an interview with Angelina Nugent on the podcast, and we just had an in-depth discussion about football. One thing that was said that Dublin had a massive advantage. This is what Pete reckoned, and I think we all agreed. It's a massive advantage for Dublin to play in Croke Park all the way up to the final.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Massive. Yeah. England playing nearly all their games in Wembley has had the same effect.
Yeah.
And their one game outside of Wembley was against Ukraine, and Ukraine were never going to be a match for England.
That's true, yeah.
So
they were shocking poor. They were shocking poor. But then again, Ireland have been there. Ireland have been there in the battle with that different league. No matter how big your heart is. So it just shows you how good Scotland, or what an effort Scotland had against England that day.
Oh, absolutely. And to be honest, I think that they were mostly the better team that day. I think Italy could do the same. Denmark had large spells of the game where they were very good against them.
Mm-hmm.
One thing's for sure, England have a good defense. So we'll see what happens.
Well, so do the Italians. See, and that's the problem. That's what might create a stalemate in the game.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Listen, we're going to wrap it up because we're getting really close to it.
Close.
How do you see the game going?
I see Italy winning 2-0.
Do you?
No, but I don't want to admit the other one.
I see England winning.
Neil O'Toole says, whatever the result, there'll be carnage around Wembley afterwards. Far better crack to be had on the Wild Bucks way 2021. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy the match. Hopefully the Italians win, so me and Steve make a couple of pounds. If you're from England and you're watching this, I hope you enjoy the night.
Yeah, and if you do win, listen, have a great. I hope you play holy fuck in a really nice way.
In a nice way. Enjoy it that way, And I suppose, if nothing else, guys, please subscribe. We're
100%.
We're going well, and check out some of the other videos. And we will be back in the coming days. Might get another live.
We will shortly. And another thing is, I haven't even told you this, Chris. We are coming at the end of September with live gigs. So remember, anyone that becomes, we're going to do 4 live gigs between the end of September and the end of the year. Anyone that subscribes to the Patreon channel for $5 a month, you'll get in free to any and every one of them gigs.
Perfect.
So and a friend. So.
That's good news for me.